Blessed day to you, all my sports to the bone family. Back at it again with another video. Thank you all for tuning in. Now, in this one, I want to share a video that I wanted to make prior to the first T20 against Bangladesh. I didn't get a chance to do so, but I'm doing it now. This is where Goodikish Moti is being featured on the ESPN Crick Info website. You know, Moti was talking about how he's looking to reinvent himself, how he's looking to add certain things to his game in terms of his bowling, you know, and also his batting. You know, he was saying that he's trying to become that all-rounder that we can depend on. Some very interesting things. I saw some very interesting things here that I want to share. And you know, I just feel it's important to share this right now because Motie is going through a phase, and I really and truly don't want him to become the forgotten soul. I'm not saying because they drop him in one game that's what's gonna happen, but I really and truly want us to appreciate, you know, what he has done and appreciate the talent. You understand? Because the numbers are there. The numbers are there. He's having a tough time right now. But when I look into it, my people, we're heading to the World Cup in, I think, March of 2026. India and Sri Lanka, they are hosting. So we're going to need competent spinners, people who have been there for a little bit now. So, and I think he's been playing T20s at the international level for probably about 4 years. We're going to talk numbers and all of that further down. But before we go down into that, my people, I want to say to my Jamaican people that, you know, you're in my prayers right now. You know, I spoke with my folks earlier this morning, you know, and they said that there's a lot of rain and wind. And even so, you know, even with that, based on what the report is saying, Melissa is expected to hit the land at its peak around about 12 noon, 1 o'clock today. You know, so we are praying that things will turn, or if it should hit the island full, you know, we are praying that people will survive. You know, assets and stuff like that you can regain, but life is very precious, you know. So we are definitely bearing up everyone in our prayers and things like that. So yeah. All right, my people. So let's talk a little bit about Goodikish Moti. As I said, I wanted to share this even before the first T20. So I didn't know, you know, it's not like I saw that they dropped him and decided to share this. You know, I had this stored, I had this saved and was going to talk about it, but I didn't get a chance before the game. You know, we see where ESPN, the headline is saying Goodikish Moti looks to reinvent what it means to be a left arm spinner, working on perfecting both finger spin and wrist spin. You hear that? Wrist spin. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw him bowling some of that in the a few months ago in the I think it was in the Global Super League that I saw him bowling a couple of deliveries, a couple wrist spin actually, right? So let's take a look at what Motie is saying as it relates to his career right now. So this is Motie. Left arm wrist spin is something I've been working on for quite a long time now. Right? That is what he's saying. He said that I think I'm not perfect with it yet. Right? I think I'm not perfect with it yet, and I still have a lot of work to do. That's something I want to go in the nets and work on so that I can get it and use it whenever I'm under pressure or bowling to left-handers. In code for no. That is that is something that my people, if he's able to develop it and perfect it, right, you know, it will definitely be a very good weapon to have in his at his disposal, right? So just to remind you, my people, he has been playing at the international level T20s, that is for probably about 4 years or so now. He has what, 118 wickets in 104 innings. Listen to the strike rate. Strike rate of 17.7. Almost 100. Strike rate of 17.7. Right? 118 wickets in 104. And I can tell him, my people, he's struggling right now, or he has struggled, but we have to be careful how we manage him. We have seen in the past where a few spinners they have come out, would have done pretty well, and then go through a rough patch, and then we don't really hear about them too much. We cannot afford this right now, my people. You understand? Especially going into the T20 World Cup being hosted by Sri Lanka and India. I'm not saying that we're going to win and all of that, but the fact that we're still searching for a leg spinner or a wrist spinner goes to show that Moti is already at the level that we would want him to be in terms of his regular left arm spin, right? But if he's working on that and he's able to perfect it or get it close to that, he could definitely be a weapon for She-Hope in that coming. And if you want to compare him with other players, you understand that the numbers that I just showed you right now so far is better than Sunil Narayan striking at 23.1, Akil Hussain 20.60. If you compare like that, Noor Ahmed 17.3 and Rashid Khan 17 during this period, right? If you're talking about the amount of games based on what I just said about Motie, right? So it's very important that we don't allow him to slip. I know that we have Hussein, who is generally in the top 3 or so when it comes on to T20, but Motie was just up there recently, so struggling in a couple of games doesn't mean that, nothing is wrong with rotating a bowler out and trying to win games. I know you want to keep people in so they can play and build their confidence, but when you're really struggling, you probably want to rotate a bit. But we have to be careful that his confidence is not crushed in terms of how we go about certain things. As I said, this is the wrist spin that he's working on. He bowled it a bit in the Global Super League, and also I think I saw it a bit in the CPL. So hopefully he will be able to master that. So just to take a closer look in terms of him playing, some of the people that he looks up to. He spoke about Daniel Vittori. Those who have been watching cricket for a while now remember the former New Zealand spinner, right? Somebody that he played a lot of cricket and was excellent. Very good piece here that they have on the ESPN Cricket Info website. I would suggest you just go on their website, type in Gudikish Motie's name, and just try to see if you can take a look at it. But I just wanted to I just felt the need to make a video like this. As I said, I wanted to do it before the first T20, so it's not because he got dropped now why I'm saying this, but I have seen in the past where guys, they would have come out and probably play a game or two, and or even a few games, look really good, and then they slip. But us not being able to produce quality spinners who can stay and play for a period of time. If we have a guy playing over 104 games or so and picking up 118 wickets at under 20, you have to make sure that you're taking care of a player like that. You understand? And I am happy to hear that he's looking at ways to improve himself. Obviously when he goes and goes up against teams that are more competent against spin, he's probably going to struggle a bit, just like any other spinners, right? But we want to make sure that we know what we are doing going into the World Cup. Let's put it that way. We want to win games, yes. We want to, and I'm not saying that we are going to win the World Cup, but we want to give ourselves the best chance, right, of giving a good account of ourselves. So we have to be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying that you cannot rotate, but we have to bear in mind that players that you're going to need to call upon, especially in a World Cup, you have to make sure that you're backing them, and they're thing there. They are getting they are not getting their confidence crushed. So I just wanted to share that, my people. As I said, the story it's a lot where he's talking about working on his batting and trying to become that all-rounder that we can depend on. You can check the story out on ESPN Cricket Info website. Just wanted to share that. Big up.